Hi there. Thank you for making it this far. This is the lecture, Information Literacy and Pre-Service Teachers. We're doing a sort of flipped classroom thing with this unit. So this lecture will introduce you to information literacy. It will help you understand the connection between information literacy and teaching, and it will hopefully get you to start thinking about how we might design information literacy components into different assignments, because that's what we're going to be working on Monday. So hopefully by watching this, you will come ready to really work and dig in during Monday's class. So my name is Eloise Stevens. I am a librarian here at Westminster College. As you can see, my office is McGill Library 109. That's right next to Kalen's and right in the hub. And my email is stevente@westminster.edu. Please feel free to contact me if anything seems unclear about this lecture, or if you just want some research help for this class or another class. I'd also like to introduce Jamie Kohler. She will be working with you on Tuesday. She is also a librarian here at Westminster. Her office is in the basement in McGill G02, and her email is kohlerjp@westminster.edu, and she is also always happy to help with any of your research needs. So like I said, today, right now, you're watching this video about information literacy and teaching. So you'll learn what information literacy is, why it's important for teachers, and hopefully you'll start thinking about how to teach your future students some of these skills. On Monday at 12:50, we will meet in the hub, and as a class we'll talk about how students use web resources and how we as teachers might be able to guide them to use information in a thoughtful and ethical way. So we'll be kind of talking about how to apply these information literacy skills and how to sort of integrate them into our teaching. So we will be collaboratively designing a potential assignment that might teach our students some of these skills. And on Tuesday at 2 p.m., we'll meet with Jamie in the hub, and so using the skills and criteria we talk about on Monday, we'll be evaluating ebooks and other electronic resources that might be helpful to your teaching. So we will sort of design an assignment on Monday and kind of try to apply it on Tuesday. So first things first, introducing information literacy and talking about what is it? So there are a lot of different views on information literacy and definitions of what it is, but one is sort of a collection of skills that helps you use information and understand it in a critical way. So some of the big skills identified and agreed upon are recognizing and articulating an information need, understanding when you want information and what you need. So accessing information efficiently and effectively. So not just searching, but really searching well. Determining the relevance and appropriateness of information, figuring out what information is going to be useful to you and what will be not so useful to you. Critically evaluating information, so not just on what the information is, when it was created, its usefulness, but critically evaluating the content itself. Synthesizing information from different sources, pulling different informations together in order to accomplish your goal, and then creating new information thoughtfully and ethically. So not just using it, not just being a good consumer of information, but being a good creator of information as well. And whether or not we realize it, we use these skills all the time. Sometimes we're pretty good at it, and sometimes our skills might need a little bit of improving. So 2 examples. In school, say you have to write a psychology paper. You look at the assignment and try to figure out what sort of information you'll need, what kind of research you'll do, and how much research you'll need. You find things that you think might be helpful and that will fit the requirements of the assignment. You read those things, you evaluate them, you determine what information is the most useful to you, what's useful for the paper that you're writing, and you articulate your argument, you create new information, which is your paper, and you synthesize the information that helps you make that argument. In life, say you're going away for a long weekend and you're going to Boston. Hey, lucky you. So you analyze your understanding of short vacations, figure out what you need to know. You need a hotel. You need to know which neighborhood to stay in. You need to know which places are best. You need to figure out where you're going to eat. So you probably are going to search on the internet to find things that might be helpful to your information need. You read things, you determine which information is most useful, which restaurants look best, which hotel looks like it's the best deal and is really great for your needs. And then you make reservations, you make your plans based on the information that you found. So in each of these cases, you are exercising those same skills. You are recognizing and articulating your need, you're accessing information, you're determining relevance, you're evaluating things, and you're synthesizing information for your end purpose. Maybe you're more comfortable with one than the other, and that's totally fine, but just understand that there are multiple applications of these skills. So ultimately, information literate people are those who have learned how to learn. That's a quote from the Presidential Committee on Information Literacy, and I think it does a really nice job summing up what information literacy is about. So maybe you are developing your information literacy skills in the context of using library resources for that psychology paper. But that's not how you're going to use them in real life. So it's about trying to take these skills that you've learned in college and applying them to different scenarios, so that when you're outside your psychology class, no one's grading you, you are still able to think critically about the information that you need, you're still able to pull together information well to support your creation of new information. Because now, if it was just about searching, we have all these wonderful tools. That's like saying that someone is literate because they can type on a keyboard. Searching is the easy part. We need to sort of make our way through this wonderful, crazy world of information on the internet by really thinking critically about what we are needing, what we're finding, and what we're using. And we're using these skills in our professions too, right? Especially for teachers. So how do we keep up with new research in pedagogy? How do we keep up with what technology is great to use in the classroom? How do we decide what to do in our classroom? How do we decide what to use in our classroom, technology-wise or really anything-wise? And then how do we know what's working and what's not working? These are all information literacy skills that you are applying to your teaching. So one way that you might apply these information literacy skills is through something called evidence-based practice. And this means making conscientious decisions based on the best available evidence, the best available information that we have. So this comes from medicine. It's about moving away from assumptions that we bring into our teaching. It's about moving away from doing things just because that's how we've always done it, and instead trying to figure out what will work in our class and what does the evidence suggest that we do. So here's one example of applying the evidence-based teaching model into our classroom and how it sort of matches up to the information literacy skills that we learned about earlier. So, for example, I want my 7th grade students to use e-portfolios so they can see how they're improving in their creative writing. And at the end, they have a nice portfolio of all the creative writing that they've done that year. So I articulate that need. I want to use e-portfolios. And by doing that, I might ask some questions about what I need to know before I use those e-portfolios. So I might ask, what are the benefits of using an e-portfolio over a paper one? What are the challenges of using e-portfolios? Do all my students have computers? Do they all have access to the internet, maybe even at home? What are the different types of e-portfolios? Maybe I'll compare those and contrast them. And how will I assess what I want to do? What do I think e-portfolios will do to benefit? So as with everything, we focus on student learning, and in the end, that's what it's all about. Information literacy is meant to be about what we want our students to be able to do, both in our classrooms and beyond. So as teachers, we're responsible for developing our students' information literacy skills, but we also need to keep tabs on our own. Information literacy, like we saw before, is really about learning how to learn. So some tips on how to develop your own information literacy skills. It's really just through practice, but it's about conscientious practice, and it's about focused practice and reflection, right? Because we can all use Google, but the challenge comes with the critical thinking and the trying to sort of wade through this information to be really effective and strategic in our searching and to find the best information and pull it together so that when we create information either in a physical form like a paper or in a non-physical form like a class, we are doing the best we can. We're getting the best information, we're pulling it together effectively and well, and we are always thinking critically. So how do we teach our students about information literacy? How do we teach them these skills? One could argue that they do just pick it up over time and over practice. And they do a little bit, maybe. After all, we can all use Google to find good enough information, but information literacy is about more than just searching. And the evidence shows that by really addressing information literacy, being conscientious about it in instruction and in assignment design is a much better way to teach your students these skills. So by conscientiously integrating it into the curriculum, by creating assignments that make students think critically about information they find and about the search process, and by having them apply these skills and really being honest with them about it, seems to be the best way to teach students. So on Monday, we'll meet in the hub, and as a class, we'll discuss ways that we might teach our students to be more information literate, and we'll design a potential assignment that might address or develop one or more information literacy skills. So this is really meant to be a hands-on class. It's going to be all up to you. I'll be there to help facilitate our conversation, but hopefully come to class with some ideas, and hopefully we can have a real nice productive session and a swell assignment coming out of it. So some questions you might want to consider based on whatever age level you want your imaginary students to be is: how do you think most students find information? What do you think they'll struggle with most? What do you think are the most important skills for the students to learn or to have? How would you teach them about these skills? And how would you assess their learning? How would you figure out what is working when you try to teach them these things? So hey, thanks for listening. If anything seems unclear, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me before Monday's class, and hopefully I can clarify things. But feel free to contact myself or Jamie at any time, and I will see you next week.